Every religion ever created, every moral law ever written, every piece of art, every sacred tradition, every flag people have died for, every prayer ever whispered at 3 a.m., none of it came from wisdom, but it came from panic. Specifically, the panic of being the only creature on Earth smart enough to know it's going to die, and having absolutely no idea what to do about that information. That's the argument of Wilhelm Klopper, a fictional German philosopher invented by the very real Polish writer Stanisław Lem. Klopper doesn't exist. His book doesn't exist. But his idea is so sharp it cuts. And it goes like this. Part 1. The baboon who started a religion by accident, Africa. A baboon troop. Completely normal Tuesday. The leader, big, intimidating, running the whole operation, scratches his right hand on something. Small injury. Doesn't matter. But now, whenever he catches a bird and eats it, he instinctively holds it to the left, because the right side hurts. The young baboons watch him. They always watch him. He's basically their celebrity, their president, and their god, combined into one hairy package. So they copy him. Left side. Always the left side. 1 generation later, every baboon in the troop eats birds from the left. Nobody questioned it. Nobody asked why. It just is what you do. It's tradition. It's sacred. It started because the boss had a boo-boo. Now, a philosopher named Sadbatham. Yes, that's really his name. Yes, Lem named him that on purpose. Yes, it's hilarious. Looked at this story and asked the most dangerous question in philosophy. What if that's how all of human culture started? What if every single belief system, every law, every sacred cow that billions of people built their lives around, started as some version of a baboon's sore hand? An accident? A misunderstanding? Something that happened, got copied again, got old enough to feel eternal, and then got called truth. Because here's the thing about humans versus baboons. Baboons eat from the left, and that's it. Story over. Humans eat from the left, then immediately decide that left is holy, right is sinful. God specifically commanded left. The right eaters are going to hell. Their children must be trained in the sacred left-eating tradition. And anyone who questions this is a dangerous radical threatening the fabric of society. That is civilization. It's built brick by brick on a sore finger. Part 2. Your body is a disaster and nobody told you, okay? This is the part where Klopper steps in and says something even more unhinged. He says, forget where culture came from. Ask what it's for. And to do that, you need to look at the human body the way a mechanic looks at a car someone brought in, claiming it runs fine. It does not run fine. You live 70 years on a good day. The first 20 you're basically useless, just learning how to be a person. The last 20 you're falling apart in real time. That leaves maybe 30 years where you're actually functioning at full capacity. 30 years out of 70. Congratulations. And during those 30 years, you feel pain at a scale that dwarfs pleasure. Hunger isn't just uncomfortable, it's agony. Suffocation isn't just unpleasant, it's terror. Injury isn't just bad, it's unbearable. Meanwhile, eating a nice meal is fine. Breathing normally is. Okay. Nothing close to the same intensity. Evolution basically built a car where the warning lights are stadium bright and the good stuff is a single dim LED in the corner. Oh, and you age whether you want to or not. Your memory fades. Your body breaks down on a schedule you can see coming but can't stop. Everyone you love dies. You die. And the truly spectacular part, the part that would almost be funny if it weren't so dark, is that you know all of this. You've always known. Deer lies awake processing its own mortality. No crow stares at the ceiling at 2 a.m. thinking, what's the point of any of this? But you can see the ending from the very beginning. You are, in other words, just smart enough to understand exactly how bad your situation is. Klopper calls this the wound. Consciousness is the wound. The ability to look at your own life with clear eyes and see the shortness, the pain, the randomness, the ending, that's the injury. The one every human being is walking around with. The one that never fully heals. It's in culture. Culture is the scab. Part 3. The greatest con job in human history here is where it gets genuinely unhinged. And brilliant. And a little depressing all at once. Culture didn't just cover the wound. It flipped it. It took every single terrible fact about being human, and somehow over thousands of years, with extraordinary patience and creativity, turned them into virtues, turned the bugs into features, with such skill that we don't even notice it happening. Watch this. Life is short. No, that's what makes it precious. A flower is beautiful because it fades. How dare you want more? Suffering is constant and unavoidable. It's not a defect. That builds you. The greatest souls always suffered most. Pain is tuition. Welcome to the class. Your body gets old and disgusting? Body is just a vessel, sweetie. What matters is the soul. The soul is eternal. The body was never the point. You feel lost, confused, don't know what you want? That's not a problem. That's freedom. The glorious, agonizing burden of human freedom. The highest gift. You should be grateful. You die and everyone you love dies. Death isn't the end. There's something beyond it. Trust us. We definitely know this. No further questions. Read that list again. Every single item took something genuinely terrible and gift-trapped it in so much meaning that it stopped feeling terrible. Started feeling like the way things are supposed to be. Started feeling like wisdom. That is 10,000 years of the most sophisticated psychological engineering in the history of life on Earth. Every generation adding another layer. Every priest and every poet and every philosopher and every parent telling their children, this is what it means. This is why it's okay. This is how you carry it. Klopper's name for this. Culture's one true job, turning minus into plus, transforming biological defects into spiritual achievements. Taking the broken car and convincing everyone, including the driver, that the rattling and the smoke and the doors that don't close properly are actually signs of character. And for most of human history, it worked beautifully, because the body couldn't be changed. Death couldn't be negotiated with. Pain couldn't be switched off. You cope. You reframe. You build the most elaborate, most beautiful, most impressive coping mechanism the universe has ever seen. You call it civilization. Part 4. So why are we still using the crutch? Now here's where Klopper does something no one expected, says. Okay, but what happens when the wound can actually heal? Because technology showed up. Quietly at first, then faster, then all at once. And it isn't offering to help you feel better about the broken car. It's offering you a new car, longer life. Editing the human body at the genetic level. Curing the diseases of aging. Redesigning, actually, physically, literally redesigning what it means to be human. This is not sci-fi. The direction is real. It's already starting. And what did humans do when this showed up? They panicked. It's unnatural, they said. It threatens human dignity, they said. There is something sacred about our limitations that must never be touched, they said. And Klopper, at this point practically vibrating with frustration, asks the question you cannot unhear once you hear it. Sacred? Your limitations are sacred? Do you know what your body actually is? Not in the poetic sense, in the literal biological sense. It is the result of millions of years of random accidents. Ice ages, meteor strikes. Which creatures happen to survive which random Tuesday, 100,000 years ago? No plan. No designer, no goal. Just chaos doing what chaos does, and whatever survived got to reproduce. The curve of your spine? Accident? The fact that you have an appendix that can kill you? Accident. The fact that your back hurts, your knees wear out, your brain deteriorates, your emotions are completely ungovernable. Accident, 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 accident. And we're calling this holy. We're clinging to it like it was handed down from above when it was actually just thrown together by evolution, which, as Klopper notes with barely concealed contempt, is a process that cares only about whether you survive long enough to reproduce today and gives exactly zero thought to whether you suffer tomorrow. But here's why it's happening. Here's the real reason. Culture did its job too well. Spent 10,000 years teaching us to love our chains, to find meaning in our suffering, to call our prison a home. It was so good at it, so thorough, so persistent, that now, when someone shows up with the key, we back away from the door. We call the scab beautiful. We say, please don't heal me. We say, I've grown attached to this wound. The question you can't unask, Lem closes the whole thing, barely hiding his smirk behind the mask of a book reviewer with one quiet observation. Klopper is probably right, he admits, but he's also missing something. Technology can change the body, cannot tell us what to change it into, can give us longer lives, but it cannot answer what a longer life is for. It can eliminate suffering, but it cannot fill the space where suffering used to live. The space where meaning lived. The space that 10,000 years of culture carefully, painstakingly decorated. Who does that job now? And so here we are, holding 10,000 years of beautiful coping mechanisms in one hand, and an actually open future in the other. Standing at the strangest moment in human history, completely unsure which direction is forward. With one question underneath all of it that you cannot unask: which of the things you believe most deeply are actually just very old scabs? The beliefs that feel like identity? The values you'd die for? The things that feel so true they couldn't possibly be questioned? How many of them trace back to a baboon's sore hand? And the one that really keeps you up at night? If you could let them heal, would you want to?